ain't taking no shots. We ain't taking no shorts. We ain't take the wrong end of the stick anymore. We ain't taking no shorts. Man, you know what it is. Taking care of the kids. And we ain't taking no shorts. Man, you know what it is. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with. Stop playing. Stop playing with me. Oh, stop playing. We ain't taking it no more. No more. We ain't taking no shots. Taking no shots. We ain't taking it no more. No more. We ain't taking no shots. We ain't taking no shots. We ain't taking no grooming and lying in it anymore. Taking care of the kids. And we ain't taking no shots. And you know what it is. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with. Stop playing. Stop playing with me. Oh, stop playing. We ain't taking it no more.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. My friend, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.
Hand if y'all trying to get way off the subject. And much respect to you, brother. Yeah, your brother kept raising his hand like he wanted to chime in on the topic. Let's get T. The guy T, he has his hand up. We got a bad habit of getting way off topic. What's up, T?
What's up? Yeah, so I'll speak quickly to it. I think one of the main reasons why there shouldn't be reparations is because most of the Anglo-Saxon residents in this country today don't have a direct lineage towards slave ownership, just by the statistic that over 90% of white Southerners, even at the heyday of slavery, did not own slaves, and many of them were working as subsistence farmers with no property or land ownership in their own right. So that would be one hesitation I would have, if there would be some way to find the slave owner lineage and get them to pay reparations. Then we might have a conversation, but the fact that the general white Southerner in this country today, if they have a sin towards Black America, it's not necessarily slave ownership. It's maybe just for racist attitudes and Jim Crow type law systems that they voted for and lived in and seem to enjoy.
Okay, here's the issue with that.
But it doesn't seem like their sin against Black America is slave ownership. So that's my hesitation. What you got?
Right. Okay, so the thing about that is that the United States government, the entire government, sanctioned and protected slavery, and they made sure that we couldn't get out of it. It was the entire government, which encompasses all of the white people. So they can't say it was just the slave owners. The entire citizenry of this government participated, and they benefited from the slavery that the government sanctioned. So this is the U.S. government as a collective. So the government is on the hook. So the government is going to have to pay. They can't opt out. Well, I didn't do it. Look, me, I didn't push red Native Americans off their reservations or their homes. I didn't take their land, but my tax dollars have to go to them. You understand? And in fact, not only that, many Native American tribes actually owe black people because they were enslaving us. So we don't get no money from them, but my tax dollars has to go to pay for these casinos that I can't even benefit from. You see? I didn't put any Japanese people in camps. Nobody in my family did that. The U.S. government did it. And guess whose tax dollars had to pay for that? Mine. So it's going to be the same thing with reparations. They can't say, well, I didn't own a slave. It don't work like that. You're in this government. You're a part of the government, and the government owes. And we have to be compensated from the United States government. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But I guess my other question, it feels like the question itself is a little redundant because I think Black America in some way is already getting reparations.
How the hell so?
With social services like welfare and the security of a police state, with policies like affirmative action, and with the creation of the infrastructure of public school systems, public water works, public sanitation services at the end of slavery, and especially at the end of Jim Crow. Black Americans got to inherit a lot of these structures of government that they did not necessarily build. They might have played a part in building them, but you get what I mean. What was that?
What didn't we build? We actually built the entire structure of this country from scratch. What didn't we build?
So I'll give you an example. Right now in Jackson, Mississippi, the city is about 80% Black. In the past, before the end of Jim Crow, the city was about 65% white. So right now, Jackson's in the news for its debacle with their water, piping. And
let's unpack
that. That was a system that was developed and built by white Anglo-Saxon Americans. And right now in the city, they're having problems attracting engineers and sanitation experts to stay and to fix the pipes. So that's one example. Black America got a functioning water.
Wait, slow it down, because you're just saying stuff and you're not putting it in context. The reason why the water system in that city and other cities now is messed up because of economic deprivation caused by the white supremacists who are running these towns. They are depriving Black people of the resources in order to fix the plumbing and the piping systems. We could do it. We just don't have the resources to do so. Even though there might be a majority Black city, the resources are locked in and maldistributed into white society and taken elsewhere, and then they divvy it out to us as they please. That's why there are problems. Am I correct or incorrect, sir?
Yeah, I think in this regards, you're incorrect. You could be right about other cities.
Who's controlling the money in Mississippi, sir?
So in Jackson, Mississippi, right now, the mayor controls the money for the
water supply. Mayor gets money from the governor, the governor, and the entire government, the governor there. They have to allocate the money. They have to allocate the money.
So the governor gave the mayor $75 million. And this was in 2017. The mayor campaigned on fixing some of the water pipes. All right. And he contracted out the work to only Black plumbers, which created white flight from the city because the plumbers were not getting any work. And then after the work was done, the mayor believed he was defrauded by the Black contractors, and he then went and spent $25 million in litigation.
And from what I understand, the governor
for marking up their prices.
Sir, what you're saying is not correct. From what I understand, they were allocating money to the white sectors of that area. It wasn't them giving money to anybody Black, and they're having Black contractors, and you have people like Brett Favre out there getting all types of money for nothing. So there wasn't a lot of money. I don't know where you're getting that from, where there was all this money allocated to Black people. Where are you getting that?
From the mayor's own campaign page. So I don't know how to pronounce the name, Chokwe Lumbamba. He's the son of a former mayor. There's been Black Democrats in charge of Jackson, Mississippi for the last 30, 40 years. And the big problem has been...
But they're not in charge of the money. That's been a big problem. They'll put a Black mayor. They've always done this. They'll put a Black mayor in a city, but they don't allocate money to them. They're just not giving them a blank check to do what they please. A lot of that money from the state, it's given to white areas, and they'll put that Black mayor there, and they're not allocating that money to them. That's just not true, sir. I don't know where you're getting that from.
All right, Tariq, with respect, I don't know how your government runs in your city, but most city governments operate their water budgets based on utility payments. A functioning city will receive water bills, and a lot of the bill is paid for the actual water, but a small percentage of it goes to the upkeep, the maintenance, and the recreation of new pipes to new neighborhoods in the city, as well as the replacement of old and dilapidating pipes. So that's not a Mississippi governor question. That is are the citizens of Jackson, Mississippi paying their bills? A lot of them are. The city gets the money, and in the past 10, 15 years, Jackson, Mississippi has been mismanaging the money that they've been received. And that problem is compounded because a lot of really intelligent sanitation engineers are not willing to move to Jackson, Mississippi. I'm from a small town in Georgia, and we have a similar problem, and our city is 80% white, so it's not entirely a race problem. But a lot of Americans
it
don't
boils
want to
down to
live
it.
in small, know-nothing towns. And Jackson, Mississippi has a much richer history than my town. But I'm just trying to show you how it's not just a black
It,
problem,
it,
but it
it's a
is.
black problem because when black people move in, when black people are in these areas, there's white flight. And when they do the white flight thing, they take the tax base with them. They take the resources with them. And then that creates deprivation, which in turns create ghettos. That's what ghettos are. They're creations of white supremacy. They're taking the money. They did it to Detroit. They did it to a lot of other urban areas. They just take the economic base out and do a scorched earth campaign and then blame the black people for the scorched earth. That's called
Right,
white.
but I don't think it's like there's this conspiracy guy that's convincing white Americans to move away. I think it's an
It
organic
is.
movement. Where
It's a culture. It's a part of white supremacist culture. It's not a god. It's just a part of white
well,
supremacist
no,
culture.
I think I'm white. I think you can maybe have picked that up, but I have recognized that there's two distinct cultures of Black America, and one type, at least in my demographic, is very good to get with. They are great friends. They're great business partners. A lot of them are very ambitious. They come from great mothers and fathers, and we don't see eye to eye about everything, but we could still have a camaraderie, so to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
there's another type that doesn't seem to like me all that much, and so I could see how maybe my grandparents and parents and uncles wanted to just have their peace and quiet and move away from a people group that doesn't like them all that much.
Why wouldn't a certain group of black people like your family during the Jim Crow era? Why wouldn't they like you?
They could have had bad experiences with the general white population and have attributed that to my people. But the same goes back. I mean, right now in this country, there's a crime rate that is 8 to 10 to sometimes 13 times higher in Black communities than for Caucasian communities.
And why is
And
that?
so there's the
And
similar
why is that?
dynamic of
Let's stop. Let's slow it down. So why are black people? Why is the crime rate so high? Where, to be honest, the crime rate actually is higher than white society. But the thing is, because of white supremacy, there's a certain immunity of law. You don't get charged with crimes in white society. That's part of the deal of white supremacy. So white people commit crimes all the time. They just don't get charged, punished, or arrested for it. You understand?
right. I don't want to really debate that point so much
It's not even
because
anything to debate. For
well,
example,
I
Jeffrey
would think
Dahmer.
on homicide.
For
Homicide is a
example,
very
for example, the Jeffrey
you can't
Dahmers.
cheat or lie about homicide.
Let's slow it down a little bit. For example, the Jeffrey Dahmers. There's a bunch of Jeffrey Dahmers within your community who get to do crimes for decades under the radar. Nobody does anything to them. Right now, there's a serial killer out there in Kansas City that they just caught, and they haven't even charged him with murder. You see, so your community, they kind of get away with more stuff, you see. But go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, just the question: how many white homicide victims were there last year, and how many Black homicide victims were there last year?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is,
That'd be the answer to the question, because there's going to be tragic cases where there's white psychopaths, there's white school shooters, but in terms of sheer numbers, how many whites, how many Latinos, how many Asians, and how many Blacks were victims of homicide last year? There's going to be the least.
The question is, how many were reported as homicides? Because there are a lot of black people who are killed, and they're actually killed by white people, but those crimes are never solved. There are black people who are murdered. They're murdered by white people, and those crimes just mysteriously never get solved. So when a black person gets killed, they just chop it up and say just another part of black on black crime, allegedly, and they don't even know who the killers are. So again, there's a lot of homicides that white people commit against black people that's not even labeled as homicide.
All right, so then my question for you, you've just said that there's a dynamic where whites are fleeing areas where they have to share space with Black Americans. So how can there be two simultaneous trends where whites are fleeing Black Americans while at the same time having all these mysterious killings of neighborhoods and cities that are now 90% or 80% Black in the form of ghettos that you just said are reality? That
Because
seems to be my confusion.
You shouldn't be confused because it's almost like a ritual where white people, well, for example, I'll give you an example. You got Kyle Rittenhouse, who's a hero of white supremacy. Kyle Rittenhouse went over there to, what's that, Kenosha? Yeah, he was going to go. He was going to hunt black people, which is what a lot of white supremacists do. These white militia groups, they go to these cities and under the cover of night, or under the cover of protest, they hunt black people. They go out here and do drive-bys, and this is why, especially in Chicago, this is very common in Chicago. So they do a lot of these killings and go under the radar. A lot of them do it ritualistically. A lot of them do it in order to become a part of white supremacist groups and white supremacist gangs. And that's very common, and it's not talked about openly. And he was going over there to kill black people, but he ended up killing white people who were protecting black people. And he became
I think
Ciao. You guys, man. So there's like this thing going on, right? So first I want to talk about we have a new layout we're trying out. So if you guys do like it, if you don't, put a 1 in the chat if you like this new layout for your phone. If you guys if it's better or if it's worse. We're trying out new things, y'all. We're trying out new stuff. We want to like make our shows even better, for our audience. You waiting for me to open up the club Thursday night, ready to cut a rug? Okay, listen. Hey, listen. I might just do it tonight. Listen,
no, Nick.
Right. Thank you, Nick. Listen, I got my DJ equipment. I have been personal stuff and this, that, the other. You give it a 2. I give it 2. So wait, 1 if it's bad, 2 if it's good. Because
and 3 if you don't know.
So we're trying to make
it. Don't know.
We're trying to make it easier to see on phones and all that stuff. So let us know if you like this layout better than the other one, 1 or 2. If it's easier to see because now like it's specifically tailored for phones. Because a lot of our people are on phones, we're doing it in like this like a phone layout. 3, you don't know? Okay. All right. Nicole said I give it a 2. Rolls eyes. Okay. Peace, Queen. Peace, Chase. Peace, Nicole. Peace, Larry Wilson. Peace.
And hi to everybody. She said hi to.
Read right on the moon. Peace, you. Peace, everybody that's here today. So we're doing some stuff that's like a little bit new today on this podcast, right? Because we're trying to always do better, right? So one thing too is, do you like the music? Do you want to have music? Or should we just talk with the music or just without? We want to like really cater this, make everybody like feel like, okay, we like it, we don't like it, all that stuff. So all right, so let's go into what he said, Sugar Love. And we encourage you guys to give 1s, 2s, and 3s as the live goes on, so we can collect those and like know how to make it.
The only thing I see wrong here is I don't know if y'all see it, but I don't see where they can click on the like. I don't see the like on here.
Oh, the top 3, the top. It's like it should be like a 3 like colons at the top.
What if you're on your computer?
It should have it on there on the computer, but if you're on a phone, it'll be 3 buttons, and you should be able to like it from the top right hand corner, right? So we're just trying new stuff. So 3 dots. Yeah, the 3 dots at the top. Yeah, on the right hand side. I think it's 3 dots and you can like it right there. So we're trying new stuff out, y'all. Yep. So please hit the 3 dots on the top right to like this live. Nicole, you get on my nerve.
You got to hit the dust. That's why it's Nick right top. Oh, I listen. And your commercial don't come in on here. If you do, I know.
Nicole, she putting up like a thing, yawning like shut up, Nicole, stop it. All right, so let's get into this. All right,
she's doing that to me because I ain't see the 3 dots. Leave me alone. You see how she picks on me all the time.
Man, they pick on me.
And I'm gonna get my snack on too, Nick, so you can tell everybody I'm eating.
Hey, Angela Reddick. Hey,
hi, Angela.
We were trying to do layout. Hit 1 if you like it, 2 if you don't, 3 if you don't care. So we're trying something new today. We're trying some new stuff today. Because we found out that this is better for phones, so we're gonna try it. If y'all don't like it, we're gonna go back to the other thing. Hey, Hannah. Hello.
Hey, Hannah.
Hello.
And
that's not if you like it, if you don't, whatever, okay?
Now, we guys would like to know how you guys feel. Do you guys feel that us as Black foundational Black Americans do you feel that we deserve our reparations?
Right. And so listen, so this is an open panel. This is
We
not a
will-
closed. This is not closed panel. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna post it right here. I don't like it. No, Nicole, mean self. You mean, Nicole?
It's her birthday, so we're gonna let her just slide for today.
Happy birthday to Nicole. Happy birthday
Birthday to
to
Nicole.
Nicole.
Happy birthday, dear
To
Nicole. My
Nicole.
Nick. Happy
Happy
birthday. I
birthday.
know it's today too, damn it.
Happy
It's the whole season, damn it.
belated
Now you got now you see
birthday
this? Now she gotta sing it again. You see that, Nick? You always start with something.
to
See that? Oh, DJ always start with something. No, DJ always start with something. No, now Nick always start with something. Both of y'all two always start with something.
This is terrible.
She always be like, DJ started it. Now today, Nick started it. But we wish you many more times around the sun, love, peace, and blessings, my sister.
I didn't know it was your birthday. I would have brought out the turntables. No one told me. I should have did that for you.
I know, right? That's right. You should.
I
Right.
might just plug them in and have to like bring it out. I don't know.
Make sure it's not copyright stuff, please. Thank you kindly.
Oh Lord, all the music is copyrighted though.
But then we're gonna do a whole new list for some jumping music and make our own club music and stuff because we can do that. We don't have to
Right. You know what? We're gonna just make a whole mix and let me mix it with our own copyrighted music. All right. So okay, y'all. So we're talking about reparations. Okay. So let me also drop the link into Sugar Love's chat. Anyone that wants to come up and talk about the subject, please come up. And also, is it in my chat too? I think I just posted it there.
Yeah, it's in your chat.
Okay, so everybody, so if you want to come and say something, so let's talk about it. Sugar Love, what you got to say so far? Do y'all like the music? If y'all don't like it, I'll cut it off.
That's the regular daggone what you call it music.
You don't like that music? Okay, we're gonna cut that.
Actually, it's not the fact that I don't like it. That's the one I used to always play, actually, the same exact one. So it to me, I prefer it, but it doesn't matter. But not that one, the one you just had on Daggett, not the one that's on the side. She go, her and that damn Nick. Ooh, child. You order some seaweed snacks off Amazon. But I would like to say, hey, Miss Rod.
Oh yeah, I've been killing the seaweed. Man, I get them about 3 at a time. Listen, the best place to get them is off of GoPuff because they got the teriyaki and they got the teriyaki chili lime and just the regular ones. Yes, the teriyaki one is the best one. Yeah.
Maybe the regular one I'll eat. I don't care for it. Maybe I'll try the regular one. But I do think, of course, we deserve reparations, right? But before I get more into it, I want to see what Karen has to say. So I'm going to present that. I can present it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop my screen. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
Let's see what Karen has to say. All right. Oh damn, sharing me. Oh, okay. Here we go. Because we got people that's for it, but that's not for it. Let's check it out. This video credit. If it just, oh man, it's hard to share. I ain't got no I don't have my mouse, so it's not letting me share it. This is ridiculous.
Well, in the meantime, while you figure that out, I'm gonna just play this.
No, it's not letting me.
You can send it to me or text it to me or whatever. You can play it.
Choose.
All right, so I'm gonna just play this one.
Oh, it says choose. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Hold on. It won't even let me get rid of it now. This is ridiculous. Choose what you want StreamYard to do. Just share it. What the hell? I can't even cancel it. I'm stuck here. I'm gonna have to go out and come back in. This is
All right, so
ridiculous.
we're gonna like share another Karen's version of what she felt.
Might be the same one.
Let's go into it. We're gonna play it.
I know, Nick.
We should be split on who should get reparations. I think as a whole, we should agree that no one deserves reparations. No one alive right now has been a victim of slavery.
Yes, they are. We are. Foundational Black Americans. We've been victimized by slavery, the legacy of slavery. Yes, we are.
How has the legacy of slavery even affected you, though?
Because the benefits of slavery have been locked in and maldistributed into white society and passed down generationally, and the deprivation has been locked into Black society and passed down to us. This is why we have to struggle more in order to succeed, because of the deprivation from slavery, ma'am. That's why.
I would disagree, because as a white girl, I've actually received negative effects due to Black people receiving the upper hand just because they're Black. I've been denied positions and scholarships for the reason that I'm white, and Black people.
Ma'am, what school denied you a scholarship, ma'am?
I'm not gonna reveal that information, but
because it doesn't exist.
She's not gonna reveal the information. So why would you say something and not be able to talk about it? That's crazy.
It does exist
because it doesn't exist.
My location, but it's
because it doesn't exist.
Universities.
Ma'am, no school denied you because of a damn Black person, ma'am. If you don't stop lying,
I'm not lying. I was also
you're lying. That's
in
why
a debate competition, and I got chosen as runner up to the Black girl simply because she was Black. They even stated it was because she was Black.
I'm not left this in the real, bro.
All right, so here's Sugar Love. This is what her thing says. Press play. Hit.
Video credit goes out to the mom.
You do not deserve reparations for slavery. People who never owned slaves do not owe anything to people who never were slaves. If a debt is owed to American slaves who are obviously no longer with us, then the debt is each of ours, because we each benefit from living today in a nation that they, among many others, built. But it's not just white Americans who benefit, especially the younger generations. They have never faced any legal or systemic racism, despite what they claim. They deserve nothing other than what they have earned. Just because there are victim mentalities doesn't mean there are actual slaves, okay? There are white Americans whose ancestors paid the ultimate price fighting on behalf of the Union in the Civil War. Do they get a free pass from paying reparations? Since we're all taking on the sins of our fathers, are we also taking on their graces? There are white Americans whose ancestors never owned slaves. There are Black Americans whose ancestors sold other Black people into slavery. This isn't as black and white as we claim, and throwing money at people doesn't solve their problems, nor will it fix our current cultural obsession with race. There are white Americans who have no generational wealth that you all love to speak of, who have nothing. Americans of all colors who have nothing. What about them? If we're going to continue to hand out government aid, then it has to continue to be needs-based. And if you say Black Americans need more because of a history that includes slavery, well, they will continue to benefit then disproportionately from need win-win. But giving money to people, even if they don't need it, just because of who their ancestors were, is abhorrent. You cannot fix one wrong with another wrong. What about every single struggling American of every color?
I want to start by saying this. By no choice of their own, my ancestors created generational wealth for others, but couldn't create generational wealth for their own. Germany paid Jewish people $86 billion in reparations. And the U.S. also funds Israel. They're the biggest recipient of U.S. foreign aid in the world. And they have free college education and free medical benefits for their people. But no outcry about that from you, Ms. Karen, because you are disconnected from the serious issues that we face in my community. And you speak of two classes of people who you clearly know nothing about. I can tell how you speak, ma'am. You're very disconnected, Miss Karen. And that being people of color and people facing poverty in this country. And reparations help solve issues for both classes because those two things are one of a kind. if you know something. Also, you dismiss reparations without giving an alternative for reparations. So just continue to face the issues that we face right now without getting anything to fix it. We know funding changes things when people do the right things with the money. It's not the money, it's what you do with the money. So also, you said that white people aren't the only ones who benefit from reparations. When it's not about those who benefit from reparations, Karen, it's about those who suffered for reparations, man. That's what it's about. Those who have suffered, and my people suffered for that. So mind your business. Just mind your business. But I agree, let's fix some of these economic issues that we face. Let's fix equal wage opportunities for people of color. Let's fix business discrimination in Black neighborhoods. Let's create generational wealth. Let's get better medical benefits. All the things that reparations could fix. So just let us handle this, ma'am. And you keep saving koalas and beavers like I've seen you do for my entire life. We know what y'all specialize in. So you don't have to get butt in right now when we get money, when we could have used your voice for so many years. So just stay quiet, Karen, and have a seat. We got this. But not today, Karen. Y'all be good. Subscribe to the page, like the video, and your boy, we out. It's the mob.
All right. So that is one take on it. Let's talk about it. All right, Sugar Love, you there? All right, so we're gonna just talk about the other one. Here we're gonna talk about the other lady who does not agree with reparations. Let's talk about this.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
And no, that didn't. No, that didn't happen, ma'am. You're lying, ma'am.
I'm not lying. They stood up there and
Mirror,
they said,
mirror,
unfortunately,
mirror,
Mira, you're not
mirror,
black enough for
mirror.
us today. And
That's a
you will
lie, Mirror.
receive the
Nobody
referral
said that.
position.
Nobody said that. Mirror, you're lying. Mirror, what? You're white. You look Hispanic in your
That's not me.
Oh, it's a fake picture. So you're lying. You even profile. What part of Europe is your family from?
Ireland.
Ireland. When did they immigrate here, ma'am?
Potato famine era.
Okay. Well, you're welcome, ma'am. That's how you benefited. If it weren't for foundational Black Americans building this wonderful, wealthy country, your family would still be over there in Ireland scratching their ass with headlights.
I think I accredit the white people and like the British that immigrated and the Native Americans. I don't accredit the Black people at all.
Ma'am, the Native Americans were the red ones because there were some Black Native Americans who got reclassified as Negro and enslaved. But the red Native Americans and the fake $5 Indians, they had zero bearing on the building of the United States. I mean, literally nothing. And the British.
You know what they did do though? They fertilized the land for us. They kept it up before we immigrated here. And
ma'am, that's horse crap. That's not true, ma'am.
It is true. They fed the land for us. They got it started. They began the farms. They began societies, and then if anything, their families deserve reparations. But it doesn't even.
They get them. They get the red.
They do. Yeah, but Black people don't deserve it.
Well, why don't Black people deserve it?
I mean, a lot of the Black people living in America nowadays aren't even. Half their ancestors aren't even slaves.
We're not talking about them. That's why we're talking about foundational Black Americans. I
don't think they should receive them either, because it's the difference between saying, well, my ancestors were slaves, so I deserve a reparation. But if you're talking about the effects that current day Black people affect, it would be all Black people.
So why? But, ma'am, what you're practicing is called racism, because you said that the red natives deserved it, and what happened to them is not a so-called affecting them now. But if they deserve it, but we don't, that's just based on race. That's called racism. You're practicing white supremacy, ma'am.
Yeah, I do. I prefer the Native Americans because they fertilized the land for us, and I was saying if anything they deserve it, but they don't at the end of the day. I'm just. But you just said okay, but you just
said they did, ma'am. You're all over the place.
No. I was saying that as like a loose term. I still don't agree anyone deserves reparations like they originally stated.
But you just said the Native Americans do.
But I don't actually mean that. It was a loose statement. I was just proving that I prefer Native Americans over Black people.
Well, it's just basically you're just a run of the mill anti-Black racist.
I'm not anti-Black. I'm anti-reparations for Black people.
Right, that's anti-Blackness, ma'am. And
no, it's not. If anything, I deserve reparations because my family was affected by the potato famine, and therefore
ma'am,
were malnutrition by birth.
They
so
got
I need money to be. I need money to be fed.
Ma'am, y'all got all the benefits of whiteness when you got here. When you got here, you got $1 million worth of whiteness.
I did not. My family started from the bottom.
Ma'am, they didn't start from the bottom. They had
Yeah,
that.
they did. My dad had my great great grandfather had to become a slave owner. He had to make his way up there.
Right, and he started from the bottom and became a slave owner. And he has a goofy, degenerate great 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 granddaughter who sounds like she has the IQ of a fly. And you're still not being marginalized. And
I am being marginalized.
You're not, ma'am.
Do you want me to explain you the ways I'm being marginalized?
Ma'am, no, you're not marginalized, ma'am. You sound ditzy as a Bessie bug. And you're going to be all right as a white person. You're going to be fine as a white supremacist. That's why you have to depend on white supremacy, because without white supremacy, just listening to you, you can't make it nowhere without a welfare system uplifting you. Listen to you.
Well, although I'm ethnically white, I have been mistaken for almost every race across the world. So therefore, Lord. By my looks, I'm not white.
Okay.
Ethnically, yes, but I have been asked if I'm half Black before. Nobody knows what I am. So at face value, I do not receive my white benefit.
Yes, you do.
The white benefit that does not exist.
Yeah, it does, ma'am. This is why you're upholding it. This is why you're upholding white supremacy. Those benefits do exist. This is why you're practicing anti-Black racism, which we're not tripping on because we're used to it. But we're still going to get what we're supposed to get, and that's going to be our reparations, ma'am.
Well, may I ask, why do you feel like you... Actually, no, I already asked this, because you feel like you still face effects of past slavery, although you don't.
I mean, we have you here, and you're relatively young. You're a young white supremacist. So now...
I'm not a white supremacist.
Oh, yes, you are, ma'am. You sound like one.
How? I love my Black folk, I have Black friends.
Have you had sexual relations with a Black man before, ma'am?
I got Black friends. Here we go with that again. I can't, for some reason, I can't touch nothing. I'm surprised that video made it in, but everything is like freezing. So from now, it's another one I wanted to play, but DJ will have to find it. I don't even know if y'all can hear me right now.
Oh, no, I have to probably remove that one from the... Oh, you have to remove it from the stage.
No, you had to, because I couldn't do it. Because my thing kept freezing. I was glad you was able to do it. I couldn't do it. Right.
I can't remove that without kicking it from the stage. So, you know what? You should be...
No, my it was like a lot of thundering and lightning and stuff going on out here. It's raining, so it's messing with the Wi-Fi.
So go to that thing. Go to that video you just uploaded and remove it.
I can't, but they can't see it. They can't see it, right?
They can see it if I were to put it up there. Yeah.
God dang it, but don't put it up there because I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. It's stuck. But as long as they can't see it, we good. Let me see. Nope, everything. Well, hold up. Maybe. But I would like to say that's just like saying, and that's just like saying, if we was for to take away all the money that people have made from slavery, right? If we don't get reparations, why don't all the money and all the interest that companies has made off of slavery and we strip it from them, would that be fair?
It wouldn't.
If we don't deserve reparations, right? Then why should they keep the money that they made from free labor?
Exactly.
I mean, that's a suggestion too, right? Now, they promised us 40 acres in the... Oh, God, I can't do it. They promised us the 40 acres in the mule. We didn't even get the mule. She's comparing potato famine. Yes, she is, Angela. They promised us the 40 acres in the mule. We didn't even get the mule. Now, where the problem is going to come at, and when they do give out reparations, guess how it's going to happen? I'm going to give you a clue how it's going to happen. $5 Indian. And I remember that lesson. That's how it was going to be. Give you a clue. $5 Indian. That's when reparations are going to be given out because of this thing called mixing, right? Mixing. When you mix too much, regardless if there are a lot of Caucasian people, they have that, what you guys put out there, the one drop rule. So that one drop rule will still be in their DNA. It was still, you can't even barely see that. So you're going to have to read that, DJ, because it's really small because it's got it in that box.
All right, it says Christian Mullen pointed out that United States government
Mm-hmm.
has paid reparations to Japanese families who were
Yeah,
interned
when we
in
bombed
World
them.
War II,
Mm-hmm.
families who lost their lives during September 11 attacks, and to Americans held hostage in Iran. So, United States had paid reparations on several occasions, and so then,
Yeah. And they paying for Israel. Hello.
how much is 40 acres and a mule? They're saying
Now.
it will be worth $168,144 in 2023. So that means that if they were to actually do what they said they was going to do, then each Black American would be entitled to almost $200,000 a piece.
It would be more than that because you have to add in the interest. Now you see where you see what is that? 5,370 billion, which would be more than that because we have these things called trillionaires, right? And that all started, that's like the Hiltons. Imagine if we stripped all the Hiltons from all their money, because that's granddaddy money, right? Look at a lot of these Rockefellers. Look at all these companies, these major names that got grandpa, great grandpa money, right? Johnson and Johnson. Look at all, now they all, as everything went up, their companies went up. If you strip them from all of that and make them start for nothing, then okay, then we don't need reparations. That money could go back into go back to the people. But they're not going to strip their money, but they're against us getting our money. But again, the problem is, even with our Caribbean brothers and sisters who don't think that we're brothers and sisters, according to our DNA, guess what? We have damn near the same DNA because we all was put on different islands, not just the United States. So a lot of our Caribbean brothers, if they sort of take their DNA, is going to have the same blockers. Now, a lot of back in slavery time, a lot of the slaves did not have their names in the book. They went by the slave owner name and they put like one slave, female, 12 years old, Black. Like they didn't, a lot of them did not have a name. So a lot of them you will have to find through their slave owner in order to even start to find out whom were their slaves and who are their descendants, right? So a lot of us will have to do, but the problem is if you have mixed and mingled, right? If you have the economy should collapse, psych shell. It should collapse. They're all living off of money that was free labor.
Yes, I want to let people know if they want to get on the StreamYard, click the StreamYard link that's in the actual chat, and it's going to pop up in your thing, and it's going to show the actual link. So it's like you click it, and then it's going to pop up on the bottom, and then click the actual link that pops up if you want to come up here and talk about this open panel, guys. So Anyway, so
now, and you also have to take in consideration the mixing. So there are a lot of Caucasian people who have that one drop rule, right? Y'all was so quick to say you got that one drop rule, you black, but they stuck that in your head for a reason. They put that in your head for a reason. Hello,
welcome to
Michelle.
the panel, Psych Shell. How you doing? Welcome to Alchemizing Energy.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Oh, I appreciate you for coming up. So you're saying that you believe that if reparations happen, the economy could collapse.
Very possible. It's very possible, especially with some of the companies that you were speaking about, like with the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and people like that.
So why would you think that the country would collapse if we got reparations, but not when the Japanese got reparations, not when the Iraqi people got reparations? Why would that be the one thing that would collapse the whole economy?
I think the situation's a little bit different. When the Japanese got reparations, they were gathered up because of fear of war, and they were taken out of their homes and put on internment camps. And they were made to lose their jobs, and they were allowed to work for the government at that point. So they were taken out of very different circumstances. So, and for the Iraqis weren't taken for any reason. There were people taken and captured and interred in Guantanamo Bay because of war crimes, and some of them are still there now. So they're taken out of different situations as well. Now, as far as receiving reparations for things that happened during slavery, I think that if we were trying to hold certain businesses like the Carnegies and other people, I think the economy could collapse. And I don't think every single solitary company that has a lot of wealth now directly has a tie to slavery. And we would have to really take a look at that. And a lot of people here in our nation, not every European person or family has been here since prior to slavery. Unfortunately, my family has been here since the 1600s and 1700s, but we also lived in the northern part of the country. And as far as, I've been blessed, and I know that. And in comparison, like I'm in psychology, and we had to do a family and marriage, when you go back and look at your family. And I went to a predominantly, I guess it's not a HBU, but we do have, in a way it is. So I was a very fortunate person in that I could go back and look at my, history, and a lot of the other students could not. It went back one or two generations because they can't trace their history because of slavery. And I forget where I was going with this, but most of my family, none of them owned slaves. I had I'm a Quaker, and a lot of my family are Quakers. So we participated in, the Underground Railroad movement, and also, the abolitionist movement. And I just fear that doing so, we would collapse the economy. I don't think there's enough money now, to even fund Social Security. I just don't know where we would be getting the money to fund reparations.
So here's the deal. Do you know that right now NASA alone, how many trillions of dollars they're putting into the space program?
Yeah. And I know why. And I know why they're doing it.
Why do you think they're doing it? So do you think that that's more important than reparations?
I can't say that any one thing is more important. I think that they're putting money into the space program because of how can I say this? How behind we are in protecting our nation, because other countries are stepping up the game. But I think that we need to take care of our people. I live in Center City, Baltimore. I am in the thick of it. And I see what's out there on the street right now, and I see that there's people that need help with our drug problem, with homeless people. I mean, I walk out on the street and I end up giving people money and food because I don't think our government is stepping up and helping. But I just don't know where all this money's coming from.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when they bought the slaves here, right? The
Yes.
the economy was sort of kind of collapsed too. That's why they wanted free labor, right?
No, I think it was greed, and they greed. That's what they wanted later.
No. They still wanted free labor, right?
It wasn't free labor. They paid an awful lot of money to bring people here.
No. Hold on a minute. Who got paid?
The slave traders got paid.
All right, but I'm talking about the slaves, right? When they wanted free labor, right? Correct? They got the free labor out of us, correct?
That wasn't free labor. That was greed, and that was actually inhumane what they did to people.
But was it free labor?
It was forced labor.
But was it free? Did they have to pay the slaves out of the pockets for their work? So it was free labor, correct?
Yes, in a way, yes.
No, it's not in a way. They did not pay the slaves for.
No, they did. No, they didn't pay the slaves for the work that they did.
Right. So they figured out a way to make their pockets bigger for free labor. So shouldn't this be something they have to figure out now?
But those people aren't alive anymore.
No, but their descendants are still benefiting from it.
But
a lot of people are.
I have a question. Do you know about BlackRock? Do you know about Goldman Sachs?
Yes.
Okay, so do you know that at one point that the whole New York Stock Exchange was founded on them bringing slaves into New York, selling them at a certain rate, and then the stock would go up, go down. That's entire like stock exchanges. So
yes.
Now BlackRock and Goldman Sachs is now the richest company in the whole entire world.
Right, but in that same token, are those people that are there and doing that, are they the ones that are responsible for bringing the slaves here, or and then what do you do with that? Just like here in Baltimore, they were bringing slaves to Lexington Market and selling them there, and now a lot of Black people have Black-owned businesses there at the market, and they it's not like they wanted to close the market there. They feel that it's a historical thing and they want to keep the market open. And I sometimes don't even feel comfortable going over there knowing that that's where they sold slaves there.
Okay. Do you think, so you don't think that for all the trillions of dollars that were made from free labor, right? You don't think that the descendants of that deserve any compensation? I mean, people didn't benefit, but it's like trillions of dollars that got generated from that.
Yes, over the past 250 years, yes. But I think it's hard to determine who actually benefited from that, and who should actually get that money. I think you would need to have like a committee and like some really serious studying about that.
Well, okay. Whoever was a non-African, non-slave benefited, because you may not put the link in there. I can't put the link in there. You're gonna have to come into DJ. I don't have a mouse, so I'm touching everything, so I'm not gonna be able to click it. Okay, even if it was stores, you have buildings, you have all the court buildings, you got the railroads, like y'all life were made right. So we did all of them jobs for free, right? You have
Well,
all the
most of the
cart
people worked in
builders.
they worked on the farms, they worked like on the plantations. And then how do you compensate the people that ended up going north into Canada? I think it's really like a hard job to figure out how to properly compensate everybody and distribute the money. I think it's something
No,
that
it's not
people are
really
really going to
hard
have to
because
look
it's
at.
record. It's the records are not that hard. Every slave owner had records of their slaves.
They did, but where are all these
They have
records?
records. Do you know when people go and get their DNA, and if they want a full DNA,
Oh,
they even
yes,
find out who the
yes,
slave master was,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
And
But then how do you
right,
find
so
out, number
why?
one, if they're dead, if they're still
But
living, where are the
hold on,
descendants?
hold on. Why are people like, if you had like, the argument is not with you, right? If you didn't, I don't understand why when people say I didn't benefit or my family benefit, then the conversation has nothing. We talk about the people who benefited, and Caucasians benefited, maybe not monetarily, but they benefited with the easier life because all the dirty jobs you got, not you, but your forefathers did not have to do, right? So if we talking about our money, right, y'all thinking it's coming out y'all pocket, but technically we put money in y'all pocket. A lot of jobs was created and companies was created off our blood, our forefathers' blood.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But the only thing that I'm suggesting is that I think it would be hard to determine which companies were the ones that will need to be evaluated for their part in this. And that's what I'm saying. We just can't willy-nilly just say, okay, because you have money now, you need to pay XYZ.
But the government will be the first company because the government was the ones who say, "Hey, bring them here," right?
No,
Because
it was private companies that went over and did
no,
not
no,
the
no,
government.
no, it was the government. It started from England. It was the
I
government.
don't think the government did that. I think there were private
So
companies that went
no,
over
no,
and got
no,
people.
no, no. That's why there was laws and stuff inserted. It
Well,
was
in the early 1600s, and this is documented in the church records, in New Jersey, John Woolman was the first Quaker to actually say he didn't want anything to do with anything, whether it was textiles or anything that was made from slave labor. And they went around, the Quakers went around into like a lot of churches in the North and even started in the South and said, look, this isn't right. We can't be doing this. And that started the abolition movement.
yeah, but
So
before that, right? For the end, we suffered.
right,
We
but
suffered. We
people didn't start
suffered.
coming to this country until the 1700s. And
I
yes,
didn't say.
I
I
can't
didn't
negate,
say. I didn't
anyone's
say which
suffering.
year, but
I can't negate that. I can't negate
right.
anyone's suffering because absolutely, and slavery was a
So
horrible
we
thing.
we have never told anybody uh, of any race what is not due to them and their
Absolutely.
people. So
And I'm with you.
how is it that people think that it's okay, not you in particular, but to tell us that what our people, that's what's due to us? We have never said, hey, don't send money to Japan, don't send money. We have never done that. So we think if you in any war, matter of fact, Haiti is still paying and they won. Haiti is still broke because they're still paying off from their war. That is a part of, they put that there. If you go to war, if you tear up their country or their people, you have to rebuild it. They took a whole people and brought us here. Because the first group of people, you got to go into DJ's link. You got to go into DJ's page, Fu, and click the link, because I can't drop it because I don't have a mouse. Right?
I also sent it to your Facebook, Fundifi.
I'm
Right.
sorry, what was that?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to be real here. You know, everybody has been compensated, but the fundamental Black Americans. Everybody.
I don't doubt that. I'm just saying that I think there needs to be a lot looked into to make certain that it's being distributed appropriately.
Like
So,
what?
but like I said, I think you got to make sure that you're compensating the people whose families escaped into Canada, because they were victims of slavery as well. Make sure that the companies that were responsible for this are the ones that you're taking the money from.
The government too. Didn't the government get their taxes? Didn't the government run a lot of things? Yeah.
But I think the government did that during the Civil War, and I think that the government ended up, eating a lot of costs from the Civil War. I think they ended up paying their debt that way. I don't know what the government has to do with this at this point, but a lot of the regular businesses were the ones that, I think that you made a good point about that they were the ones that stood to make the profit, were the private businesses.
Not just private.
Well, what you were saying before about
that was one. That was
Black
one example.
Yeah, that BlackRock and Goldman Sachs. They should be the ones that have a forensic audit all the way back to the mid 1800s to find out how they actually benefited from, the backs of enslaved people. They're the ones that should, and that money should be used to fund, reparations for families.
Well, here's the question though, that why, okay, so when the Japanese needed money, right? Did they say that only the money from BlackRock should be funding that, or did they say that?
Well, the Japanese are different because they were forced out of their homes, and those homes that was a finite period of time. That was about a 5-year period of time.
And we wasn't forced out of our home.
Welcome to the chat.
Hey, Sister Fu, what's up, love?
But when you're speaking about the Japanese, okay, that they were taken out of their homes that they already had and out of their communities and returned, and the government felt
was that in America or in Japan?
No, it was here in America. That they were forced out of their homes in America and put on basically, in like a base that they couldn't leave.
So they felt that they should be given reparations because they were taken out of their homes in America and
that they owned. They were taken and forced out of their businesses that they owned, and then after the war was over, they said, "Okay, so you're not treasonous. We'll send you back." So that's what happened. They weren't taken from Japan. They were taken out of their own communities that they established just because they were Japanese, and Americans thought that they would give up some secrets to Japan.
We're gonna go
that's
further.
why.
I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm gonna let Foodie come up here and talk to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth too for a little bit.
Well, that's what happened, and that you can look that up. But that's exactly what happened.
Welcome to the chat, Foodie.
Thank you for joining. What's up, sis?
One thing that we have to understand on this side of the line is that 2 to 3 different American histories have been taught in the schools. She has one American history version. We lived a whole different type of history than she was ever taught about. Because everybody talks about us coming from Africa. All of us did not come from Africa. Some of us were good old Indians, as her ancestors called us, who were right here in the Americas, dark, pretty, and proud. So if the case that the Japanese were taken out of their homes and forced to give up their things, so were African Americans. We forget that American part on the end. All the people that were here were not shipped here. They were not. DNA says so. So if the Japanese can get it for 5 years in an internment camp, and she can justify that, don't the people who were already here, forced off their land, the Plains Indians were taken to the desert. The desert Indians were taken to the mountains, and the mountain Indians were taken to the valleys. And in this cross section, the darker ones, which is why there are only 5 so-called civilized tribes in America right now, and none of them look like us.
Oh, so you're assuming you're assuming my identity.
Wait a minute. I didn't assume anything about you, ma'am.
But you said that I have this history, a different history that I was taught in school.
You do.
No, I think that you're assuming my identity. I'm Cherokee Indian. And then I also went to school beyond it.
Is that the $5 Indian?
Yeah, those are those 5 so-called civilized tribes that gave us up.
Right. And I went to school beyond too. I went to school way beyond my education at like an American public school.
If you were Cherokee, so did I, sweetheart. So if you're talking about Cherokee, I'm Paunon Blackfoot. So if we're going to talk about the Cherokee, let's talk about y'all giving up the darker ones and them going into Mexico to be safe because your kinsmen weren't even safe in your own arms.
I didn't do it. We're talking about my great-great-grandmother.
And they're still, yes.
I didn't do it.
It's always y'all didn't do it.
But I wasn't in charge of the Trail of Tears. But what I'm saying to you, but what I was saying to you is I believe in reparations. I'm just saying that I think there has to be an appropriate way to distribute the money and to go after the companies that are in charge of it.
Right. So you're
saying it wasn't just companies, sweetheart. There was
I am not your sweetheart. And
Michelle, there was a whole national agenda that still plays out against the slaves, the chattel slaves.
Yes, I understand that. I am just saying that you can't just willy-nilly just pick a company. It will crash the economy. There needs to be a system in which reparations are distributed to people whose family were slaves. I agree with you. I agree that there are systems. Where do you think the money's going to come from?
I want the national, the same people that made Jim Crow laws, the same people that redlined our communities, the same people that sit back and their descendants are still enjoying the spoils of our war and the booty that they took, because this is not y'all's land. You too are immigrants here that bred into the people that were already here. Because Black folk, I'm telling y'all, stop looking for the black connection and start looking for your white slave master father. When you
Thank
start
you.
looking for your
Let's
white
go that.
slave master father,
Exactly.
then
Thank
we can
you.
tap into their
Thank you.
pockets, because
Thank you.
these are our brothers and sisters,
Mhm.
literally, that have benefited going around the monopoly board, getting they $200 every time they go around the monopoly board, and we have got nothing.
Mhm.
Nothing. And they look us in the face as their siblings, because they act like the slave master wasn't making children that he was selling, because they were. So when they talk about, well, your ancestry, look on that white side.
And also the Native Americans, so-called, the Cherokees was selling us, the darker skinned ones.
Mhm.
So as much as you say, okay, well, no, I'm not white, I'm Cherokee. Okay, well, they was selling us too, ma'am. So
She dumped
they
that
know
white identity quick, didn't she? I'm
No,
Cherokee.
I have black children. What am I supposed to do about that?
You know, the white lady that told me that once, that had 2 biracial children, ended up calling me crying when she found out that her biracial children were seen to white folk as black and treated as such.
No,
She called me crying.
I
How
adopted
do I
them. I didn't
navigate
bear them. I
this?
adopted them.
How do I navigate this? How? Fee, help. She and I are best
now you
friends.
adopted two African children, two
Yes.
African, or well, I would say this also, that if you really do the research, you will find out that a lot of African Americans are native to America. If you really do the research,
Oh, I
they
know. I know.
I
I
mean, come on now. Think about this. They had them boats that was so strong and it don't exist no more. The boats was able to put all these people up. No, they were already here. So you might be just thinking, oh, they're from out. No, they were already here. People were already coming across. And so as much as like you would think that, oh, okay, well, these are African American children that I'm raising, that these reparations would be for them too.
well, absolutely.
Oh no, they didn't participate in the slave trade, so they don't deserve anything.
Right.
Why would you think that I would say something like that?
Why would you
Because
want
you did. Because, ma'am, you did say that. You said exactly that. We can hear and we can comprehend.
And please don't assume anything about
I
me
didn't.
or
You
whatever.
said it.
Can I ask a question? Why would you have two African American children and then be more concerned about the economy than your own children getting some?
What I am saying to you is, when the government doesn't have a lot of money, they are so many $1 trillion in debt.
Government prints off money like it's
Thank you. Government make the money.
They're supposed to have the gold to back up the money, and they
the
don't.
gold standard.
back
Yeah,
up
We
the
came
money.
off the gold standard so long ago. You
Thank you.
talking
That was
nonsense.
thank you.
Our dollar is worthless, and I don't know. You think that the government can print the money and make up money? Go ahead, but we don't have that
They
money.
do.
We don't
They
even.
do.
Then
That's
give
why the
us the
government
land.
shuts down all the time.
So here's
Then
the
give us the
question.
land and go home.
Here's the question.
You can have the land. I don't even know any land anymore.
Here's
We
the
don't.
question.
We don't have
We
the
don't have
money.
the money. If we don't have the money, how are they sending rocket ships up to space with trillions of dollar budgets to do so, but they don't have the money to like give us $1
Wait a
billion?
minute. Wait, how much do they send to Israel every
Thank
year?
you. Thank
Ukraine.
you.
They're
Thank
not
you.
supposed to be, and
How
that's
much did they send to the Ukraine?
they shouldn't be. And that's I don't even want to start talking about politics.
But they
We need to fix
did.
stuff in our own country first, and we're sending
But
the money
they did.
overseas.
But they did. We
But
could
they're doing
solve hunger. We could solve hunger in the
We
United
could.
States with
Absolutely.
1/3 of what they spend on the military budget in 1 year.
It's
We
not
could
even that.
solve.
If they would just fix the welfare fraud, we'd have the money for reparations. We'd have
The
the money.
welfare fraud is about countries. It's not about the individuals in America. And let us be clear. The white woman is the one who's on welfare more than the black
You're
women
No,
right.
here.
let
You are
no,
absolutely right.
no. Let me
You are
say
right.
something even deeper. Corporations get more welfare from the
From
government
the
than even
tax breaks.
people.
Yep.
So
If we could fix all those things,
corporate
we'd have
there's more.
money.
Listen, there's more corporate welfare. So the thing is that you're saying that the economy would collapse, but bottom line is that you're not saying, hey, we need to pull the corporate welfare that goes on. We need to
Hmm.
pull this to like make this happen. You're more focused on, well, it shouldn't happen because it's going to collapse the economy. No, it should happen because black people are the largest consumers in the country, and it would pour into the economy more and make more into the economy. Corporate welfare goes out to India because most corporations outsource their work.
If we could fix the problems and reform the crap that needs to be reformed, I think that we'd have the money for reparations. But nobody wants
Ma'am,
to sit down and solve the problems.
ma'am. I just like to say one thing. We in
Yes, go ahead.
2024. Every time we talk about it, we in 2024. We always gotta hear something that's containing not us getting our reparations, right? We want our reparations and they need to figure it out. Not we. Like we didn't figure out for them to use our free labor. They figured it out. Then they need to figure out how to give us our money. They had problems then and they have problems now. But every time we want to talk about it, year after year after year, even from slavery, when they gave us the promise with the 1 acre and a mule, we never even got the acre, nor the mule. Like, how much longer do you want a set of people to keep hearing about everybody else's problems when we didn't create it? So I hear what you're saying, but enough is enough. Like
I agree with you.
So then
I
you
agree
should,
with you.
right? So that argument should be with them. Fix what y'all have to fix and give them people their money.
Right. So, like, are we going to elect Congress people that are going to fix it, or are we going to keep talking about it for the next however? I've been going through a divorce for 7 years.
What the thing that you're saying is, you keep talking about, the economy is going to
I
be
said the
busted.
economy can't support it and would collapse because
Right,
we
but
need to. What just like, for instance, let me pose this to you. People in California, they wanted to have like a $20 salary at like McDonald's and stuff like that. So what happened when McDonald's got wind of that and they made the base salary be $20? What
you
happens
want
now? What happened to McDonald's?
ma'am, we don't
Honey, I
even
still
know.
see a McDonald's in my neighborhoods. I don't know
No,
what
but
Apples to
we,
No, but
oranges.
what did
but
they do with all that?
well,
What happened to McDonald's?
hold on, ma'am.
Apples to
I mean,
oranges.
I'm asking you a question.
McDonald's still
No,
exists. What do you
hold
mean?
on.
McDonald's still exists.
We have never had. Do you see their bank? Have you ever seen the government's bank account for us to even be saying how? Do you know how much they have, or do you know what they tell you?
I asked you a question.
No, the question.
What happened in response to people wanting?
No, you're talking about the government don't have enough money, right?
They don't. They don't.
How do you know that?
Because I go on the website and about what is the national debt.
No, not the debt. We're talking about their
Hi,
money.
ladies.
Hi, my sweetie.
How's everybody
How
doing?
do you know how much money we have? Not how much debt we have, how much money we have to say that we don't have enough.
Because in every year in January, they have to go before the Congress and the House of Representatives and present a budget.
Not
And
a
they're
budget.
always operating at a negative. That's how I know. And you have to go, if you go onto it, that's how you know.
You don't know. Have you seen
Okay, I
any
don't know
of their
then.
transactions or bank records? Right, nobody knows for us to say how much money they have and how much money
The Fed
they don't have.
They can print money at will.
They can't just print money. They can't just print money.
That doesn't make it true.
No, they can't just print the money. That's why they have to go into a shutdown. They shut down the government.
Shouts out to Ami. Welcome to the panel.
Ladies. Welcome. Or not welcome.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happened with McDonald's. McDonald's went and they got rid of all the cashiers.
Okay, Michelle. Ami's gonna say something, and I'm gonna let you say.
Okay.
We're gonna have the quorum, and I thank you for like joining because it's great to have that opposing opinion. So we're gonna all have some decorum. Ami, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Shout out to everyone on the panel. I'm definitely familiar with Miss Sugar Love and from DC. Um, Shout out to you, DJ Genesis. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So I kind of came on the tail end. I was driving. I wanted to get on here sooner, but I'm like, let me sit back and listen for a bit. And one thing I would like to say to Miss Michelle, how are you, love? First off,
How are you? Thank you.
I'm good, thank you. So I agree with Sugar Love when she says she hears where you're coming from because, like, of course, like there has to be some type of system, but at the same time, my emotions at play and the ancestral blood that is running through my body. Let me start off by saying I am Blackfoot Cherokee and also Olmec, and I also have lineage in Portuguese as well. So my people are from here. So that alone, this place was built off the back, so we can keep beating that dead horse. We know how America got to the place that it is today. In the blood, sweat, tears, sacrifices, lynches, rapes, all. I'm so sorry to be so vulgar, but we have to talk about the truth, the real truth, and how we're still slaves to this day and not even recognized as a full human. The Constitution does not protect us or any of that. So quite frankly, I don't care about what needs to happen, and we need to make sure. I don't have compassion for anybody else besides my people when it comes to this situation. So give us the money, give us the land and stuff that we're owed, or like what else are we talking about? There you can't just print money, or there's all the excuses. It does not amount to the pain, to the blood. Do you feel what I'm saying? We can't have those conversations. It's pay me or F you. And not you, Miss Michelle. The man, the you know what I'm saying, the system.
I do.
There's no, well, you can't, they can print money. Do you know how much money they F off all the, I mean, come on now. Like we don't need to play those games. The truth is the truth. They effed us, they raped us, and they keep doing it. And you're gonna come on our land and you're creating systems and you're creating divides and you're switching up the history books and all. We're sick of the shit. We still get slayed by the cops. We get penalized for just being. It's too much. Give us our shit, or maybe they need to leave too. At this point, like, what do you expect the people to do? Getting beat and slain year after year after year, and we're screaming and nobody's listening. The least you can do is give us our fucking money. If you want us to shut the fuck up and go away, give us the fucking money in the land. That way we can do what we need to do and separate from y'all ass. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I'm done, ladies, for now. Thank you.
All right. So, Michelle, do you have an answer? Do you want to comment on that?
No, but I don't think I have an opposing point of view. I'm just saying I agree with you. And I agree that most of the systems in our country are against, African American or people of color, whatever you want me to. Yeah, like it's against.
No, excuse me, Michelle. I need you to do this. So this breaks generational curses. I need you to identify me as an indigenous.
I'm sorry. I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm almost blind. I'm sorry. I can't see.
Oh, she doesn't.
It's Omi and Fundi. Omi and Fundi.
Yeah, I'm seriously almost blind, so I can't really see.
It's Omi and Fundi. Omi and Fundi are asking for the respect to be called indigenous.
Indigenous. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, no need to be sorry. No need to be sorry.
All right. So, Fundi, you wanted to say something too. Go ahead, Fundi. I'm sorry.
I was just kind of taken aback because the government doesn't have the money. Okay, that's cool. But when the audit was done on the federal government, and it was found out how much money was not accounted for, all of a sudden we had a 9/11. And everybody forgot about that missing money. So when Michelle, and forgive me, when your cousins show up at the polls, Black women cringe, Black men cringe, because honestly, what y'all say in our faces does not match what y'all do in the voting booth. And I'm not saying you in particular, please understand that. I'm saying y'all as a collective. And I'll also put this on the table. You have more sympathy for Asians, for your Eurasian cousins that came over here, that were thrown in an internment camp for 5 years, than you do for the indigenous people who were put through the worst human treatment known to man at this time. You actually have more sympathy for people who spent 5 years in an internment camp than people who have spent 500 years being treated less than dogs.
Once again, you're making an assumption. You're making an assumption. And I don't think that's fair, especially to hang that on me for an entire race of people. And both of those situations, you can't compare. They are both contextual. And that's not fair to say, especially to me. I mean, my dad and his brothers went and marched with Martin Luther King in Philadelphia when he was there.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, if you're going to do it to me, I'm going to do it.
Because my mama,
please don't do that.
because my mother has the dog bites in her leg from Birmingham, Alabama. Don't do that. And you know what? Your grandmother doesn't. Your grandmother doesn't have those war wounds, ma'am. Don't do that. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, where it went down. My father got hosed. My grandmother went to jail.
Is that okay though? But why can't my family be part of the solution, but it's okay for you to say that? My family worked for this.
Yeah, it's okay for me to say that. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
But yes, why is it not okay? Why is it not okay for me to be an ally?
Your people didn't take the physical abuse, ma'am.
Other people may not have, but my family did help. My family wanted to be part of the solution.
I didn't say they didn't. I didn't say they didn't. But what you're trying to do is cut us out of our own movement.
I don't. You know what? I'm right there next to you. I am. This is not fair.
Can I say something real quick, please?
Slavery wasn't fair, but you still don't seem to be able to find a way to make it fair.
Wait, I am saying that I'm part of the solution.
Michelle,
you know what? I'm going to have to leave because you know what? Even though I'm actually an ally and work towards this, I don't think that you're being fair to other people.
You're an ally?
So I just want to make a quick comment on the ally.
Wait, Michelle, hold on. So on me, go ahead.
Oh,
Ryan, if you want to hit the link, go ahead and hit it.
Because I'm not trying to. I don't want Michelle to be attacked. This is a passionate conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I feel if she was against, she would have been got off. So Michelle, I encourage you to stay. Because I feel like the Most High will work something positive out in the end. This is passion here. This is pure passion. Okay, love. But listen, so learn a moment that could possibly. I feel your heart. I don't feel like you're an evil-hearted person. You say that you're an ally.
I am an ally.
Listen, let me. Can I finish, please? And I feel that in a notion, but as well, there's some type of like residual entitlement there. And I feel like let me finish, please. If you are an ally, like I believe that you are, I feel like this would be one of those moments, like, even if you don't agree wholeheartedly, let the sisters speak and get out what they need to get out without feeling like you have to be at a defense, because there's no reason to be at a defense, but we are talking about people of your lineage in a dark way. We're not uplifting them in that moment, so that could be uncomfortable for you, because if we're being honest, we do live in a society where you're not normally really uncomfortable. And I don't know what you've been through. I'm just saying, just, you know what I'm saying?
You know what?
So,
No, for Christ's sake, I live in inner city
okay,
Baltimore.
I tried.
No, it's
I'm done talking though, DJ Genesis. I'll go
like
ahead and mic up for a
I'm
little bit.
actually pro what you guys are saying about reparations.
All right, so if you're pro reparations, why would you care about the economy? Like, bro, like,
Because I said it would collapse the economy. If we just right now gave out $3 billion and we took it from these companies that you were naming, it would collapse the economy. Where do you think the money's coming from?
Well, here's the thing: is that if we took out $3 billion from the NASA, the other meaningless things that they're putting billions, trillions of dollars into, $3 billion ain't nothing to trillions. So we are okay with us going into space, jumping on the moon, whatever the heck, trying to have a moon race, or going and sending money over to other countries as relief, but we're not cool with actually helping the people here. That's the American problem, is that we're sending all of our money out to other countries to support them in a war because we want to get their resources, but we're not actually supporting the people here. And now we have a Skid Row. We have all this crap going on in our country with where people like us.
But hold on.
And
Can
then
I say something? Hold
I'm
on.
so sorry.
Can y'all hear me? I would like to say, right, this is how I feel, right? You want us to learn to worry about a economy that may collapse, where we built the economy. Where this economy is at, it should not even be there anyway. So if they have, just same way we have to start over, then everybody should start over. I'm sorry if it collapsed, but we built the economy. So now you want us to also worry about it collapsing?
The colonizers did not care about how our people
collapsing our
were going to
communities or our
suffer when they came and
civilization.
flooded them and set them on fire and raped our women. They did not think once about how we were going to survive and be okay. So there's no discussion. There's no discussion.
Okay.
Now, I'm being completely honest though.
Okay, so if the economy collapses, there will be no food, there will be no money, there will be nothing.
Well, guess what?
That's not true.
Look how long we had to live through that before we was able to get a job. Right? No, look how long we had to have no food, no money, no nothing. Look how long our forefathers had to eat pig intestines and had to eat mud and bugs and dirty water for hundreds of years, because it wasn't no jobs for us. It was collapse for us. Did anybody care when we had to live like that?
Right.
Nobody cared about Jim Crow.
Sure didn't.
And let us not say that. Let us not say that nobody cared. Let's say the people that did care were very ineffective. Everybody's help was very ineffective. And nobody seems to want to admit that their help, they can say they're helping us. The devil always say he's helping.
Right.
But the help has been, is, was, and will be ineffective. Because this is a problem that nobody wants to solve, because it means the end of what people call America.
Ooh.
And they would rather hold on to that idea than to be morally and to be religiously and morally right.
And let's say that the economy would crash given we get reparations. Let's just say that's true, right? Let's say that happens.
Good.
Wouldn't that be a fair trade for a trade, a fair sacrifice?
That's called square.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we talking about?
No,
like, what are we talking
happens
about?
is, sis. No, what happens, sis, is even though the economy may crash, but for the first time, let's say we go by, it does crash. But we have our reparations that will put us on top. That's where the problem is at.
You
Because
know
if
what
they
the thing?
pay us, if they pay
Sorry,
us
sugar.
all what they owe us, now we would be on top. So other people are worrying about, okay, they'll have their money, but if this collapse, they'll have their reparations, but now we have nothing. That's where the problem is at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it collapsed, but we won't benefit off the collapse because they have paid us our reparations. So now we will have more money than others. So while they're sort of kind of put in the predicament that we were in, we will now have some money because it'll be from our reparations. So if it collapses, like who is not going to benefit from that if it collapses?
Right.
Is the question.
And you know what,
Ukraine got
sugar?
$107 billion and the economy didn't collapse.
We don't even
107 with a B, not an M, a B, and it didn't collapse. They give money to, I'm gonna say it again, every year. We're giving warheads, we're giving our military instruments to a country who is openly committing genocide.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I guess we technically don't. I'm so sorry, Boondy. My bad.
No, you good, babe. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say something real quick. We don't need the money. If we had the land and everybody on one accord and the resources, that's all we need. But see, we're under this illusion and we rely on them so much, and they know that. Because you remember, Fundi, that spinning wheel on the axis that we talked about a couple years back?
Yes.
We're still on
Yes.
it. So we're under this
We're still on
illusion.
it.
If we broke out of the spell in numbers and realize that we don't even need the currency, we can make our own currency and survive on our own. That is what the man, quote unquote, is scared of. That is what would make the economy fall. Is if black people pull the quote unquote black people pull themselves away completely.
Hey, I'm sorry, Fundi. I didn't mean to block you, mute you. I just there's like a feedback going on, so just unmute when you want to talk. You were you talking? It's
Huh?
like a
No.
Oh, and
Is
I'm
the
going,
feedback
Mama
still there?
Fundi.
yeah, it's like a muffled thing going on every time someone says
Hold
something.
on. Let me find my ears. Let me find my ears.
Okay, I'm gonna just mute you for the moment. So, hey, Michelle. So, did you have a comment to say?
Oh no, I'm just listening.
So, what do you think about what was said so far?
Not, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but a lot of these problems, is within the government, and they need to straighten these things out.
Right.
Can we talk about one other problem? Is there still feedback?
No, you sound perfect.
Yeah, sound better.
Okay.
No, you good, sis.
Let's talk about another problem. And this is me and my mom was talking like a couple months ago, and we were talking about this problem. And I said that the reason that the American dream is being held on to so hard by these immigrants is that if America collapses today or tomorrow, they can't go home. They can't go back to France. They can't go back to Spain. They can't go back to Portugal, Britain, Finland, Sweden, Ireland. They can't go back. So they have to hold on to this. Just like the white South Americans had to hold on to their bare teeth to South Africa, they can't go back to Europe either. Let them tell it. They're Africans. They're more Africans than the people who were actually born there.
Right.
And that's the problem with colonization. And shall we be honest? The easiest way for an empirical government to take over any land is colonization. Because once the colonies have been there for 3 generations, they are now part of the land and can claim that. They don't have to go home anymore. And just to add insult to injury, America just imported a whole new group of voters from the Ukraine. They brought them right on in for their numbers, but made sure that the Haitians left, the Jamaicans was gone, the Africans are being deported. People of color must go back to their land, but not the American. And notice they're not called white Americans. They're just called good old-fashioned Americans.
Right.
We're the ones called African Americans.
And don't know nobody in Africa. I ain't never met nobody in Africa. I ain't never heard nobody in my family from Africa. I ain't never been to Africa. I don't own nothing from Africa. I don't know nothing
Girl,
about
the
no
Africans,
Africa.
the Africans tell me I ain't African. I believe them.
Yeah,
Right. Girl,
And Michelle,
sis,
Yeah.
tell it.
Michelle, I want you to know that. Like,
Tell it.
so when you talk about, okay, all right, it's going to collapse the economy, right? Oh,
But for who is the
Good.
question?
Good.
But
Good.
for
But
who?
for
True.
who?
Right. And the whole "Make America Great Again." What are we like? That's like a smack in the face to indigenous Black Americans. Make it great again. When was it ever great? But it's been hell for one group of people.
Well, or no, maintain the status quo.
And let's not forget about the black job.
That's all
the
Right.
black people job, the black jobs.
Right. So we gonna listen. I had that tallied up in my thing. You know what I'm saying? I had it tallied up.
But y'all, we have to be serious about this, because when white folk go to the polls to vote, they even vote against their own best interest. Let us be honest. Us as Black folk did not put Trump in office. White women put Trump in office.
Right,
and Trump elected judges to interpret the laws that were already interpreted, laws that already had precedents. They overturned them. And this is what we have to understand about the dirty trio. You know, the electoral, the legislative, and the judicial branches. Because we don't have agency here. You know, they act like the Black vote is a big thing, but how many of us are felons and do not have the right to vote?
Okay.
We need to be honest.
And how many people that the felony was out
to vote?
Imagine you get a weed charge, right? And then you get a felony weed charge, but then weed gets made legal.
Right.
So is that still a felony? What's going on now? Oh,
right. Do they got to finish their sentence? Do they get released? Yeah. Right.
No, but where's Michelle? She gone.
She left.
She gone. I'm
I
sorry.
was asking her when she said it collapsed. I never got
I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry.
But I asked her when she said the government's going to collapse. I wanted the answer for who.
Right.
No, you did ask that. We did ask that.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah,
I never got an answer. I never got the answer.
So let's go into Donald Trump. So this video right here is, I'm sorry, not that one, but this one. Let's go into what he said. So this is him at the I'm sorry, let me thing. This is him at the National Journalist.
Oh my God. We gonna take a shot every time he says black.
I'm gonna be drunk as hell if I do that. Let's go into it.
So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
Even the music is geriatric.
You might have to mute the music.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe
answered
that
the
black voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have been
years.
the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act?
for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace. I really do.
What y'all think about that? What do y'all think? Like, ma'am, like what?
Oh boy.
Thoughts? He went in, didn't he? Kind of hard. Like, I'm like, okay. Wow. What do y'all think? What's your thoughts?
My laugh said enough, I guess. He's something else.
Okay, all I can think is Central Park 5.
Right. Didn't he like put a whole ad out in a newspaper? Like
Yes.
demonizing young kids?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes. Yes. But I gotta give him his props. I made more money when Trump was in office than when Obama was in office for 8 years. I made more money in them 4 years than I did in them 8. So I gotta give Trump that.
But is it that every president like okay, so it takes some years for that president's work to begin to show. So Obama might have been like doing all this stuff, and then it showed during Trump's administration, and then Trump did what he had to do, and then it shows during Biden's administration. Then Biden's doing what he. So is it because of that, or is it because Trump was doing the most and he was the best?
Oh, I'll give it to you that it was probably a echo effect from Barack. I'll give you that because it's what 2 years into Biden. I'm looking at my bottom line like, how that happen? So you could be right, but again, Trump is they gonna elect him again.
But here's the thing: all the policies that Obama was trying to pass, Trump took away, right? During his administration, right? All the Obamacare, all the health care, all the stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he tried to take advantage of the fact, okay, COVID was around when he was in office, right? Or was that during Trump? I mean, during Obama.
COVID was Trump.
Yeah.
Right? So the only thing that happened is that they gave out like allowances for COVID, which was really a psyop. So so we want to give him credit for giving money to people, but at the same time, in experimenting on the American public.
800. They gave us $800 for 8 months of stopping the economy.
So
what?
And we quadruple paying that back now.
Right.
Thank you.
So
I'm
that
mad.
because Trump is like the GOAT, or is it because a
He's a
pandemic
goat, all right.
during his time and really all the like things that we saw were really like the ripple effect of Obama.
That $700 was hush money.
Mm-hmm.
It was shut up and be quiet money. It was take the stick and be quiet money.
Here, order from Amazon money.
No,
for real.
It's
Sit down,
something.
be
It's
quiet, order
something.
from Amazon. You'll be all right.
It's the money that you get for being a case study.
And don't even fool around and find out how many people like me that was forced into getting the prick because you have to get the prick because you're gonna lose your job.
Right.
You about to lose your job. You fix to lose your job and be homeless and what? So it's like, oh yeah, we got the money, but at what cost, right? People were passing out, dying, all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? From that prick, right? So how much is the money really worth it though?
Let me be the first one to say that, I have a thing with DJ such and such over there. Y'all should know that. I think DJ such and such also knows I got a thing with her. But DJ such and such. COVID was not the first round of lose your job if you don't take the stick. That was the second round. The first round was the pneumonia shot. That's how I came out of corporate America. When they told me I had to take that flu shot, and I rallied for 6 months with people at my job, they're like, no, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. They made me their spokesperson. By the time that deadline hit, there was me and another phlebotomist that was still holding on that we're not taking that shot. They fired us.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna say this is that I was hired from an Indian company that was based out of India called Tata Consultants. So in order for me to keep my job, because the Indian company I worked for was not under American government. So that's another thing is that, as much as Trump was talking about, well, we shouldn't outsource jobs, these corporations that come into America are still like outsourcing and doing the same thing that Trump said we shouldn't do. So we have a huge software engineering and engineering aspect of America that outsources. So a lot of times when you get your jobs as a contractor, me being a contractor, you are subject not to American government, but to whatever government the company comes from. So that's why it was like either you do it or not, because I'm not subject to American rules or whatever. I'm subject to India rules.
And the third go round, because there's another one coming. And the reason the other one is coming is because y'all in masses, folk took that last one without even thinking about it. Well, not I'm not gonna say without even thinking about it, because a lot of people just were forced into taking it to keep their jobs, to keep their livelihoods.
Yeah.
Especially what did they call them? The essential workers.
Yeah.
Did anybody notice what the essential workers were? They were the supermarkets, the truckers, the pumping stations, the
Uber drivers.
Walmarts.
The
Yeah,
nurses, the doctors.
correct. Now, if we could take a formula from what they taught us last time, if the essential workers just stopped going to work, we could end this.
Right.
Honey, it would be the end of everything, because if they make the nurses and doctors take it, then what do you think is going to happen? You won't have anyone to treat people in a medical facility, so then people would just die and off, and they'll just be piled up in the hospital. It'll be a third world situation.
And maybe the doctors that understood pathology should have stood up under their Hippocratic oath and said, this is not the way pathogens work.
Right.
This is not the way infection works. But because our medical field was hijacked and given over to the powers that be, let's say, because isn't Fauci up on charges right now from everything that he said during COVID? Or is he in jail? Which one?
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Because the doctors that were saying this ain't right, they literally slapped them with what did that one doctor get? He got a court order to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
If he kept talking, he was going to jail.
And these platforms are on, I'm like, hey, you can't say nothing about it either.
But we live in the home of the free. We're supposed to have free speech. That's a constitutional right.
That's an illusion.
Thank you. Because COVID taught us that. You can't even talk about what's killing the country.
Well, once social media got introduced, and you have all these platforms like a TikTok and a Bigo and a whatever, we're no longer under the Constitution, because now we're under like whatever the internet law is, whatever that is, the FCC. I don't know what would this law be.
Well, TikTok wouldn't be under the FCC because it's not based here, which is why they're really trying to get rid of TikTok. I've learned more from TikTok than I did in the 14, 16 years I was in formal school.
No, seriously, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's practical living and history.
Look, I learned how to make like some homemade naan over there. Naan, however you say it. The Indian bread.
Nom.
Naan. Mm-hmm.
So let's watch the rest of this whole Trump situation. Let's see what he got to say.
I just love this look, though. him wrapped in the American
I've known
flag
her
and the
a long time
American
indirectly,
colors,
not directly,
and
very
her
much.
in all
And
blue.
she was always of Indian heritage.
In real time.
In such a horrible manner, first, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a, and she was only in such a hostile manner. My opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent,
Including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who was the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
how do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
I
She went to a
respect either
historically Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you
interview.
told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So do you guys think that Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, and do you think that she's Black?
She's not Black. She's not Black. Period.
Well, that's complicated.
She ain't nowhere near Black. She's Middle Eastern.
Well, is she a D?
She been that my whole life. My whole life she's been Middle Eastern. All the way up until last Tuesday. So I'm
So does Trump have a point?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yes, he does.
He's an asshole, but he knows his shit. I mean,
do you think that he do you think he ate her up on that comment?
Oh, he definitely
yes.
ate. He ate and left no crumbs.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people don't know that she's Middle Eastern. A lot of people they're not political. They only get political every 4 years. So they say Kamala's a Black woman. That's what they're gonna go with. And I think she's also a plant. And I think she's here to piss off the white folks.
Okay, here's how complicated this construct of Black and white is. First, she's Indian. She's Indian. She is South Asian. Her mama and daddy are South Asian.
Oh, wait, her daddy's Jamaican, right?
Her daddy is a South Asian who has a Jamaican passport. His nationality is Jamaican. His culture is Indian.
Right.
And that is where this gets complicated. Because them foreigners in Jamaica, they will use that many become one people. They will use that slogan to their advantage. And the Jamaican people are so loving and giving and kind until they're not.
Right.
I ain't see the love and giving kind part yet, but
so
and they listen to the Bob Marley, One Love, One Heart. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
And
so when it comes to her parents, their birth certificates say white. because they're South Asian.
Right.
It doesn't matter the color of their skin. It's where they're from. If anybody is from the Middle East, they're considered Caucasian. I don't give a frick about their skin color.
I don't know if
Now,
y'all.
when we come to America, America is a whole nother construct than anywhere else in the world. That one drop rule rings it all in here. So
That's me.
if we were born here, if you come and you appear to be dark, to us, you black.
Mhm.
To
That's so
white
toxic.
folk, you will eventually be black. When it conveniences them for you to become black, you will be. But they can always ride that fence on us, but they're always going to gravitate to the power. Nobody's going to gravitate to the underdog. So when
Did y'all
she was in
notice?
college, and she wanted an identity, she became a black Greek.
Right.
So thank you, and I said this when they first called her the vice president. To thank the black Greeks for this.
Yeah, they said she was a sister. She was a stepping sister, not a Afro sister. Okay.
Correct. So we have a lot of political games being played with her heritage on our tops, in our faces. And she playing that game too. Let's be honest. You trying too hard when your photo op is you eating fried chicken with hot sauce.
Ladies, did y'all see how she was talking in her slang at the Atlanta rally? And y'all know, and y'all, and they not like us, and just like Quavo said.
You saw her trying to dance like she was at the cook. I'm like, girl, bye.
Girl, calm down. Like, it was like, girl, calm down. Do you need a relaxer or something? Like, somebody get her. What do they be taking? The Adderall. So she needs
A
something.
Valium. She needs an old fashioned Valium
in a cocktail. She was gyrating, and that European was slipping on out as she was trying to. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's too much. And then Megan
I get what you're saying, Indiana, but we that doesn't mean we can't have the conversation, right? This conversation still has to be talked about. Yeah, we are picking, or people are picking, depending on who's voting on the lesser evil.
No, we're not. Can we stop saying that to one another? Your vote doesn't count as long as the Electoral College is in place, period. If your popular vote does not match what the Electoral College has done, the popular vote goes null and void. The Electoral College has the last say on the president, and that's why Fee will not vote.
He would have won.
You know what? Boom, right there. So while we're running around hollering my vote count, no, it doesn't.
They already know.
And here's the rub on that. And you don't know who's in the Electoral College, and they don't have to tell you. Boom.
At this point, Kamala, she might as well come up on there with some watermelon, some chicken, a watermelon hat, grape hoop earrings, and a head wrap.
She already a minstrel show.
The stanky leg or something. You know what? She might as well just go ahead and bring it on.
She brought up Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Come on, now. That shows that she ain't connected to the black people, because
I ain't even political.
no Negro that's running for president will be like, oh, let me get Megan Thee Stallion to come up here and like show. Come on, now, let's go. Let's go.
Not Neil deGrasse. No,
Honest how
nobody
divided
with
we are.
smarts and intelligence.
And
I
as
mean,
you were
not to
coming
say
today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
Yeah, the black
is
job.
anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the employment away from black people.
Gimme.
They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you say. Let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him. And now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating. Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country.
So what y'all think about that?
Where's the wall?
It's underground.
What the hell is a black job? What's a black job?
It's in them tunnels, girl.
I mean, can a president who told us he was going to get Mexico to build a wall for us talk about open borders? I mean, can you really?
I think the fact that they think that they're making an issue that she's a black woman. Like it ain't like she get kudos because she's a black woman, Indian woman, or whatever. It's can she do the job?
What has she done?
But I don't. No, let me finish. It's not. I don't think that they think that we're just that stupid. Whomever choose to vote for her because she's black, right? And then we also that if she was black, right? If she was American black, right? Because now everybody wants to pull the black card, as we always say, when it's needed, right? When it's needed, hey, I'm black, grandmama black, somebody black friends, black toenail, black nail polish, but it all counts as black, right? It all counts as black. But I'm like, then you got all the men, and that's a shame if she really was a black woman. These men crossed over because they think she's black. Our black men done crossed over, which is a shame, But I mean, whom people vote for, you do that there. But we still have to discuss can she do the job? And somebody said they haven't seen nothing she did as a vice president.
Anybody can do the job. She's a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
She does not have real power. She's the veil to keep us from seeing where real power is.
Mm-hmm.
Suge, they could put you as vice president.
Girl.
The only thing you have to do is act
And
your
follow
part.
directions. That's exactly. Read them prompts, girl. Read them prompts. Get it together. Mm-hmm.
Do the
I'm still
ceremonies,
trying to
do
figure
the
out what a
ceremonies,
black
and
job is.
don't get pew-pewed.
Oh, and shake hands. And shake hands every time you go to East Country. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? And we're having talks. Ain't nothing happened. Just go shake a hand for the camera. Cheese. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, the vice president don't have a whole lot to do except they're the head of the House of Representatives, right?
But
she has to see over the House of Reps. That's her job. She's a placeholder just in case the president goes belly up, buys the farm, gets kicked, gets knocked.
See now, Alzheimer's, dementia.
She's the spare.
Freezing.
In any royal family, you have to have one and a spare.
Yeah.
Right, so I want to show this real quick before we, all right. So this is. Let me like try to figure out a way to make this bigger, because I think this is a real threat. Okay, so this is all the Chinese-owned farmland in America, and every Chinese farm is next to an Air Force base, an Army base. This is what we need to be thinking about, right? So, so when I was on Uhuru, so what's his name? Raising something Uhuru, or it's Dynasty Mir. I went on his platform and I said, listen, we need to be focused on the fact that China has bought up a bunch of farmland next to military bases. So on top of that, they had a Russian fighter jet and a Chinese fighter jet that came and tried to go to Alaska. Okay. On top of that, they had a Russian submarine that just banked on the coast of Cuba. So it's like, so if you have a president that does not even know what to do in this situation, so the question is that okay? Who would you trust in this situation? Do you think that Kamala could handle that? Like, if China and Russia begins to come into the country and try to infiltrate and then attack, because a lot of Black people don't think this would ever happen. They don't really see that there's like anything to be worried about, based on my panel hopping expeditions. So,
well, that's just one part of the problem. Let's add on to that problem, because there have been over 102 known and suspected Chinese police stations in America operating freely.
Chinese police station.
You heard what I said.
What? Wait.
This prosecution reveals the Chinese government's flagrant violations of our national sovereignty by establishing a secret police station. 102 of them around America. Yeah, look it up. Go ahead.
What?
She tapping right now. I hear you on the keyboards, DJ.
Go ahead.
Is there like a map of what the hell?
Just type it in. Typing it.
Yeah, there is. Go. I'm just gonna throw your ass down the rabbit hole. Don't be safe. Don't jump in. Because who do you think is protecting that farmland that's next to American bases?
Oh wow.
Oh, you must have found it.
And don't put your toe in the water. Put the whole
You'll stink
foot in it.
forever.
After FBI, hold on. After FBI busts Chinese police station in New York City, 6 more exposed in the U.S. But then they're gonna put Kamala Harris's big old picture up there, like, sir, like, damn, bro, like, what? What?
Look at that red thing.
Yeah.
The Chinese wants word. They want
We gonna be speaking Chinese in a minute. Don't worry. I told y'all.
That's gonna be everywhere. They already own Africa. They already own Jamaica. You know, and other places I cannot name. Mm-hmm.
We going back to being Asiatic. Y'all older ladies, get ready to have you a young Chinese man, because they ain't got no women over there.
Peace.
I'm sorry.
Peace. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Look at that. So I believe that this whole election is going to determine whether these people activate or not. I don't know. So you have Latin America coming in, you have China coming in, you got Russia coming in.
That would answer her question. Well, we're going to go bankrupt. Really? China right here got pockets full of money.
It's gonna go bankrupt if we give $3 billion to black folk, but you gave $107 billion to the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine has never put money into the American economy, but we have.
As usual, they're worried about themselves. Why do you want us to figure out a problem if we get reparations? Why do you want us to figure out if y'all go bankrupt? If we get our reparations, we ain't going bankrupt with y'all. Again, they're only worried about themselves, and they always come as, I'm for it. I'm with you. I'm your ally. You didn't have to be nothing if y'all didn't enslave these people.
But
they always want us to be thankful for something they started.
I'm Cherokee. Don't get me started. She should have kept that one.
No, she's the $5 Indian.
So let's get into it. But we also be going against ourselves. This is Dynasty Mir, right? So here he go, right? So watch this. So
I like to hear a variety and diversity of opinions. So one of my guests, I'm not going to say his name, he reached out to me. He actually came to Sierra Leone with me this past trip in November, got his passport. And he brought the fact how here shortly, undocumented immigrants in Chicago are going to be eligible for $500 checks. And he said, well, Dynasty, ADOS, Black American, whatever, FBA, whatever you want to call it. All the work we put into this country, the blood, sweat, and tears, it's a smack in the face because we can't get reparations. And this is my answer. In fact, let me play my favorite video, okay? In fact, Clyde Clyburn perfectly answers why undocumented immigrants, Ukrainians get priority over Black Americans. In fact, y'all, let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Clyde Clyburn, our senator out of South Carolina. Let's go ahead and bring him on. He's going to break it down for you. He's going to explain and break it down better than I can why all these other groups give preferred treatment over Black Americans. Mr. Clyburn, take it over.
Toward what's important. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a retirement income plan designed to balance growth and guaranteed income. Because doors are meant to be open.
Just buy YouTube.
Congressman Clyburn, thank you for joining us right now. Most Democrats think you're a kingmaker.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I thought that Joe Biden would do well with that. We had for the last 4 years retrogression taking place in the right experience to help us continue this pursuit of a perfect union.
How do you want Joe Biden to pay you back?
I'm sorry?
How do you want Joe Biden to pay you back?
To pay me back? No. I don't want anything. I'm sorry? Right experience to help us continue this pursuit of a perfect union.
How do you want Joe Biden to pay you back?
I'm sorry?
How do you want Joe Biden to pay you back?
To pay me back? No. I don't want anything out of this.
So that right there sums up why other groups get preferred treatment over Black Americans. Because Black Americans don't want none. We don't want none. We don't want none. Joe Biden said himself, he's putting the alphabet community first and illegal immigrants. Those were his picks. He told you guys that, and you guys voted for the guy anyway. Again, Joe Biden said that he was putting the alphabet community and the immigrant community first. Those were his priorities. He told you guys that, and you voted for him anyway. So why are you guys surprised that you're not getting that $500 check? Or that $500 check is going towards undocumented immigrants, and why Ukrainian refugees are getting Social Security. Why are you surprised? Y'all, it's time to just move on, okay? It's time to just move on. And then we had a rapper named Ice Cube. Ice Cube said, look, you guys, let's see what we could get for our vote. You want to know what the Black community told him? Shut up. Who are you? You's a rapper. So they had a problem with Ice Cube speaking up, but when Cardi B sat down with Joe Biden, Black folks were celebrating that. That's the mindset of our people. You're upset at Ice Cube for suggesting that we see what we could get for our vote as a community, but you have no problem with Joe Biden sitting down with Cardi B. That's where we're at.
Nobody wants, would you shut up? Nobody wants to start from, you would never be able to start from where we started from, like far, far, far behind. But nobody wants to start from the beginning. It's okay for us. You would never ever start from where we started from. But that's where the big argument is at, because again, she never answered the question. We're gonna go, the government is gonna go broke. Who gonna suffer? If we getting our reparations, who's gonna suffer? Because that means that we now have money and we can now build and maybe put our money together, maybe get our own communities, maybe have our own businesses. Come on, lady, tell the truth. And y'all worrying about y'all cut in y'all pockets and what's going to happen to y'all. But nobody gave a F about what happened to us. We got to stop apologizing or trying to see somebody's point of view who does not want to see ours. We as indigenous / Black people have to stop doing that. If nobody wants to speak the truth, then don't jump on people's panels if you don't want to hear the truth. If you don't want to hear it the way it is, then stop jumping on panels. We are not our forefathers.
So we're at 2:29, and I want to get everybody's last remarks. It's been 2.5 hours. I thank you guys for being here with us while we talked about the subject. Let's get last remarks from from Sugar Love, then Fundi Fee, and then we're gonna take it. You're gonna say just take us out of here, cause.
Well, then I'll go last then.
Okay, so Fundi.
See, that's that crap. I ain't even had time to formulate my ego-driven antithesis and villain speech. Ugh.
Go ahead,
Now I
girl.
gotta come
Go
off the
ahead,
dome.
Go on, girl.
I got my colored markers and everything. I was like, ooh.
I'm going back live. I'm going back live. Don't worry about it. I'm going back live.
I need for us to realize that we did have a start and this has not finished yet. And the argument that, my people lived in the North. Well, where the hell do you think the cotton was going? The cotton didn't go straight on the daggone boat and straight over to England. It was processed in the North. And let us also put this out there. Black folk was not unskilled labor. That was skilled labor. And skilled labor costs more. Because your mama who owned the slaves, because the men just overran the plantations. White women owned the slaves as a part of inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, don't let them take you off your history because they weren't taught proper history. Thank y'all for having me on the panel. Like I said, it's three different histories taught in America. Be aware of the one that you lived and the one that other people know.
Exactly, sis. But don't worry, we're gonna have a part
Thank you so much, Fundi Fee, for your time. All right, Sugar Love.
No, her thing came out. I just, oh gosh, I feel like her now. I haven't had time to put together, right? But I just gonna say, you know what? We will continue this because it's not even just all about the respirations. It's about, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it on mine neither, because I don't have my mouse and I don't know how to set. This is a touch screen. I don't know how to work the touch screen because I have always used the mouse. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it on mine, but I'm going to try. But they're trying to take everything of ours, our reparation, our history, our music, our everything. Now they got the new thing that we have no culture. And I'm like, how do you stand in front of somebody dressed just like them and tell them they have no culture? But you're dressed like me. You got no dashikis on. You don't look like no parts of where your heritage come from. You're looking like that same black man that's in front of you. But again, they're coming up with a lot of stuff now. So guys, please be prepared. Stay on your square or your circle or whatever you call it, and stop letting people like a sweet talk you or soft talk you into thinking that they're on your side, but really they're not on your side. But they're going to tell you, I agree with you. So listen, either you agree with us and you want it done or you don't. That's not that hard. But DJ, take us out of here.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. My friend, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.
I love who I am. I'm loving me. Look in the mirror, unapologetically clean. Love what I see. Love who I am. I am invincible. I am a fan. My curves and my features, God makes no mistakes. I am successful. I am what it takes. I'm bulletproof. I'm 100 proof, and I love who I see because I'm living my truth. I'm invincible. I'm incredible. A star in the making. I reach past the clouds. I'm invincible. I'm incredible.